Yesterday's semiconductor sell-off bleeding into Asia tech stocks today. Among the big names, Samsung down more than 3%, though the biggest loser overall here, NVIDIA in the U.S., it fell 9%. That's just yesterday. Then more after hours on Bloomberg, reporting that the company received a subpoena from the government as part of an antitrust investigation. Joining us right now to talk about all things chips, Vivek Arya, Bank of America Securities senior semiconductor analyst. Good morning to you. Let me just ask the question I think a lot of folks in the marketplace are asking before we even get to where the stock goes. Do you think that this rumor was in the market earlier in the day?
Good morning, Andrew. So first, commenting on anything DOJ related is outside of my area of expertise, but I'll just make one or two kind of factual comments. First of all, NVIDIA's products have consistently outperformed every industry benchmark. So it's a superior product. Number two, all of NVIDIA's top customers are large, sophisticated companies. They not only buy from NVIDIA, most of them, in fact, buy from AMD also. Many of them have their internal chip projects. Google has been making the TPU for the last 8 years. Amazon has been making its own products for the last 5 years. So there is plenty of competition. And then finally, tension between regulators and large cap tech is not uncommon. We have seen this consistently. So it's hard for me to say how this trends, but you may be right that perhaps there was some speculation of it out there that perhaps impacted the trading yesterday.
Here we have the current stock market update for NVIDIA Corporation, stock ticker NVDA. Before we begin, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comment section below so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So here we have the 4-hour price chart, and as we can see here, the stock continues to be sold off and reach new lows. In the prior clip, I thought that a very interesting question was asked, and essentially this sort of implies the possibility that maybe some of this information about this new antitrust probe from the DOJ, Department of Justice, against NVIDIA, the question here essentially suggests that some of this information might have been leaked through the market a bit before most of this information was made public. We saw this. We saw these news reports starting to come to light a bit later. But given the size of the DOJ and how many different connections there are and things like that, I do think that this is a valid question to be asking, because it seems to me incredibly unlikely that there weren't some people that hadn't heard a little bit of this information, or at least the possibility that something like this was coming in advance of these latest moves lower, because this is a fairly extreme move lower, and it's not any real suggestion that there's anything wrong with NVIDIA's products, but the question here is whether or not NVIDIA controls too much of the market, which I guess is in some ways a fair question to be asking, given the size and power of that company. And the amount of market share that they control. But at the same time, I mean, what are we going to do? Are we going to penalize them for making the best products in the world? Do we not want a Western company to, be making these types of products? Do we really want to be breaking up NVIDIA? These are all questions that are going to need to be answered. And this is not the type of situation that will resolve itself quickly. This is the type of event, this is the type of scenario or event, legal event, that could go on for quite some time and could create some extended uncertainty for this stock. That doesn't help us very much in the near term here for the upcoming trading session. We will be getting some responses from NVIDIA on this. I will be posting information about that as well. But first, I do think we should sort of take stock of the current price movements here, because they have been fairly substantial. So in this move lower, we have already broken through some very important support zones. Near-term lows are coming in at 104.12. This breaks below the 200 period exponential moving average on the 4-hour price chart. So I'll just point to that here. That would be this break here. And then in addition to that, we've also broken below the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement of this most recent trending move from 90.69 to 131.26. So these are major moves here, and there will be extended questions that are going to need to be answered. This really throws a wrench in the works for people that are trading this stock or are currently long this stock. Overall, I don't think that this changes the The fundamental outlook, the earnings outlook, the product line itself, whether or not Blackwell is going to see additional delays, things like that. But this will throw, a wrench in the works as far as sentiment is concerned, and it could make some rallies here near term a bit more difficult to achieve. So as things currently stand from a technical perspective, what we're looking at here is a zone that does not have very much support. That doesn't mean that I'm necessarily saying that prices can't bounce out of this 104.12 area. All I'm saying here is that there really isn't much technical support in this area to suggest that a bounce would be likely right around here. We do have a lot of empty space here. We're already trading below the exponential moving average cluster. There's no historical support in this area. The only thing that we can really point to at this point would be a move into roughly 99.30. Which seems very difficult to believe after a company posts a strong earnings report, because we do have a bit of historical support in that area. And then we also have the fact that we're trading right near this psychological level at 100. If the share price were to break below 100, that would be the main news story of the day. I don't think that the market would be able to escape that headline, saying that NVIDIA crashes below $100 per share.
Are you of the view that the government would have a fair case to be made against this company?
So that's why I think that this is outside of my area of expertise. But the key, I think, for the technology industry is that how competitive is the environment. Today, the large hyperscalers have a choice of buying. So many of them are in different stages of setting up their accelerated infrastructure. Only about 35% of their spending is going into this accelerated infrastructure. So still 2/3 is going into areas where NVIDIA doesn't participate yet. And in that 1/3 of spending, NVIDIA has about 75–80% market share. AMD is selling to most of these customers. Broadcom and Marvell are making custom chips. There are many startups that are making chips for these companies. So we think it's a fairly competitive environment. And then the other point that I mentioned, which is about large cap tech, if you look at most companies, large successful technology companies, whether it's in search, whether it's in social, operating systems, e-commerce, they tend to have 75–80% market share. So for the large companies with scale benefits to dominate, that's actually the norm for the industry. That's not abnormal.
Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.